Welcome to another episode of the Bug Bite, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we're engineered to win. In today's episode, I wanted to jump into this article talking about vulnerabilities and how long they take to get fixed versus how long they are exploited. So that is the plan for today. If you haven't done so already, do me a big favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Go over to techcoachralph.dev where you can sign up for exclusive content from me, as well as one-on-one coaching so that we can win together. But let's jump into this article, okay? So this says 75% of new vulnerabilities exploited within 19 days. So what exactly does that mean? Let's find out. Last year alone, over 30,000 new vulnerabilities were published, with a new vulnerability emerging approximately every 17 minutes. So that means a new one every 17 minutes. There's a new vulnerability that is looking to attack us, do us harm, averaging 600 new vulnerabilities per week, according to Cybersecurity, right? So the pace at which vulnerabilities are being published is accelerating, with a new vulnerability emerging approximately every 17 minutes. So that is very, very good information to know. Scary, dangerous, but very good to know, right? The report highlights a critical gap in remediation efforts, with the average time to patch exceeding 100 days. Yes, they're saying it takes about 100 days to patch these vulnerabilities that are coming out. All right, it's crazy. It is crazy. Contrasted against the findings that 75% of new vulnerabilities are exploited in 19 days or less. So basically, it's taking us, and by us I mean, companies, IT companies, whoever, 19 days to patch the vulnerability. However, it's taking us 100 days. I'm sorry, it's taking us 100 days to patch a vulnerability, but those vulnerabilities are being exploited and being they're stealing credit card numbers, stealing passwords, whatever, within 19 days or less. So there is a big gap here that is really affecting us, So these findings underscore the urgent need for continuous exposure management and modern vulnerability mitigation strategies to safeguard against the growing risk of cyber attacks, all right? So 2023 witnessed a surge in vulnerabilities, with the National Vulnerability Database, NVD, recording a 17% year-over-year increase since the inception of the NVD 30 years ago. 234,579 CVEs have been cataloged, yet half of those have been discovered in just the past 5 years. So within 30 years, we have 234,000, almost 235,000 that have been cataloged. But in the last 5 years, we have about 100-something thousand that were added. So in the first 25 years, we had about 100-something thousand. In the last 5 years, we have another 100-something thousand. That makes half of it, which is crazy. Like at the speed that things are rising, at the rate, it is totally crazy, right? Half of all 2023 vulnerabilities considered high or critical. Oh my goodness. So Skybox found that nearly half of all new discovered vulnerabilities were classified as high or critical. This overwhelming influx creates a focus gap for security teams. The sheer volume of threats makes it difficult to prioritize effectively, potentially leaving critical risk overlooked and organizations exposed. You know what? Reading this makes me want to say, I'm in a bind, Nate. It's tough out here. It is tough out here if we are not, if everything is high or critical. How do we know which one's going to harm us the most? Do we end up creating a super high, super critical? It's rough. It's rough, right? The rise in vulnerability stems from several ongoing industry concerns, including a rapidly expanding attack surface with more interconnected devices, increasingly intricate software with hidden vulnerabilities in third-party components, the positive trend of more resources dedicated to uncovering vulnerabilities naturally leads to a higher number being identified, all right? So the past year marked a watershed moment in cybersecurity, with organizations worldwide confronting an unprecedented surge in both the volume and complexity of cyber threats, said Mordecai Rosen, CEO at Skybox Security. Patching remains a crucial defense, but its limitations are clear. Effective vulnerability management goes beyond patching. It involves continuous identification, risk-based prioritization, leveraging existing controls for timely mitigation, and ethical cybersecurity practices. Keyword, as always, is ethical, right? Ethical as always. So let's see, where are we at now? All right, this comprehensive approach empowers organizations to navigate the complexities of modern threats. So this report further exposes a critical cybersecurity challenge, a shrinking window for vulnerability patching. That is what I'm thinking as well, because you can have all those things, but if you don't patch it in time, then what gives, right? What gives? So the mean time to exploit, MTTE, plummeted to just 44 days in 2023, with a concerning 25% of vulnerabilities exploited the same day and a staggering 75% within 19 days. That's rough. This rapid exploitation timeline starkly contrasts the lengthy 95 to 155 days from the CVE publication to remediation. This rapid exploitation timeline and the long delay in identifying malicious activity necessitates swift and effective response mechanisms from organizations. There is a very short window for remediation of new vulnerabilities, which leaves cybercriminals ample time to compromise networks if not acted upon quickly. It says 25% of them can happen the same day, 75% within 19 days. We're taking way longer than that to act upon them. So we are at such risk for these cyber criminals taking our credit cards, our social security numbers, all that stuff, right? So we need to find a way to act quicker, like what should be the turnaround time to patch your systems upon a vulnerability being found? Let me know in the chat. I'm so curious to know, because I don't really have a good answer for this, because priorities and stuff like that. So, all right. So the downside of traditional vulnerability scanning methods. Traditional vulnerability scanning methods struggle to keep pace with today's surge in vulnerabilities. The sheer volume overwhelms even the most diligent security teams, making spreadsheet-based tracking and patching cycles ineffective. It's like by the time you patch whatever it is you're patching, there's like 100 more vulnerabilities that are ready to attack, This is why organizations are increasingly turning to modern vulnerability management solutions. A modern vulnerability management approach integrated with a continuous exposure management program becomes crucial to combat shrinking remediation windows. Companies can reduce their risk and slim down their mean time to remediation by adopting continuous vulnerability identification, leveraging automated techniques to discover new vulnerabilities across systems and networks constantly. Risk-based prioritization. Not all vulnerabilities are created equal. Effective vulnerability management prioritizes threats based on factors like exploitability, potential impact on critical systems or data, and the existence of patches. This ensures the security teams focus on the most critical issues first, which is what we want, right? That's what we want. So leveraging existing controls, vulnerability management solutions can help identify how these controls can be used to mitigate the risks posed by specific vulnerabilities even before a patch is available, right? And then lastly, ethical and legal compliance. Cybersecurity goes beyond technical measures. Effective vulnerability management ensures adherence to relevant data privacy regulations and responsible testing. Keyword testing. Testing is so important, right? So that is the article for today. This one is, once again, is called 75% of new vulnerabilities exploited within 19 days. What do we do? But there you have it. Let me know what you think about how can we better help remediate these vulnerabilities in a much faster way. Leave me a comment. I am so curious to hear your thoughts on this, especially for all you cybersecurity experts out here who are watching the channel. I know you probably come across this. You probably have made suggestions. Let me know. I'm curious to know. But we're going to leave it at that for today. Do me a big favor on your way out. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm sure you have. But if you haven't, do me a favor, do that. And go to techcoachralph.dev, sign up for our coaching plan today, as well as sign up for exclusive content. We can message back and forth. I can give you some tips, some insight, whatever the case may be. It's not that expensive, and we can talk. Like, if you send me a message in the Patreon, I promise I will respond, give you some insight. If you want one-on-one coaching, sign up for a coaching plan, and we can go from there. We can run it up together. But on that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph with another episode of the Bug Bite. We are out.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.